Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving deep into the fascinating world of social networks. In this digital era, we often find ourselves entwined in the web of social media, spending hours scrolling through feeds, liking posts, and sharing snippets of our lives. But have you ever stopped to wonder, why are these platforms so addictive? Well, we're going to unravel this digital spell. We'll delve into the psychological mechanisms at play, including the fear of missing out, the dopamine hits we experience, the social comparisons we make, and how our brain chemistry responds to this constant influx of new information. So buckle up as we embark on this enlightening journey to understand the captivating allure of social networks. We promise it's going to be an eye-opener. Let's explore the psychology behind this digital addiction. Our first culprit is FOMO, or fear of missing out. It's a term we've all heard, maybe even felt, and it's a powerful player in the game of social media addiction. Imagine the social network as a bustling city, alive with chatter and activity. Each post is an open door, inviting us into someone's world. These digital doorways lead to a myriad of experiences: a friend's vacation, a celebrity's backstage antics, a trending dance challenge. It's a smorgasbord of social interaction and information, and it's incredibly hard to resist. Now let's talk about belonging and community, two fundamental human needs. Social networks have become our modern-day town squares, where we gather, exchange ideas, and share our lives. They offer us a sense of belonging, a feeling of being part of something larger. We follow individuals who share our interests, groups that resonate with our beliefs, and pages that reflect our passions. But with this sense of community comes a fear, the fear of missing out. What if we miss an important update? What if a trend passes us by? What if we're the last to know about a viral meme? This fear, this anxiety of being left out keeps us scrolling, refreshing, and checking our notifications. FOMO taps into our innate desire to be in the know, to be part of the conversation. It's the digital equivalent of keeping up with the Joneses, where the Joneses could be anyone from our closest friends to the hottest influencers. The social network is a never-ending party, and FOMO is the fear of missing the best bits. But remember, it's not about being present at every virtual gathering or knowing every trend. It's about choosing what matters to us, what enriches our lives. It's about balancing our digital and real-world interactions and not letting the fear of missing out dictate our screen time. So the next time you feel the tug of FOMO, take a step back. Question if it's worth the endless scrolling, the constant checking, because at the end of the day, it's like a virtual party we can't afford to miss. Or is it? Ever wondered why notifications give us a rush? It's all about dopamine. Dopamine, often dubbed as the feel-good neurotransmitter, plays a vital role in our brain's reward system. It's the chemical messenger responsible for making us feel pleasure. But dopamine does more than just making us feel good. It's also crucial in motivating us to take action towards achieving a goal, reward, or satisfaction. Now, let's dive into the intricacies of how social media platforms are designed to trigger this dopamine release. These platforms are engineered to be addictive, exploiting our brain's natural predilection for seeking rewards. Every time you post a picture, tweet, or update your status, you're essentially playing a game of anticipation. You're waiting for the likes, comments, and shares to roll in. And when they do, your brain gets a hit of dopamine, a reward. This hit is exhilarating, and it can make you feel good, acknowledged, and socially accepted. The more likes or comments you get, the more dopamine your brain releases, and the better you feel. It's a cycle that keeps you coming back for more. But it's not just about posting and getting feedback. Dopamine also plays a role in the endless scrolling we do on these platforms. Every new piece of information, every fresh tweet or post, is a potential dopamine hit. Our brains are wired to seek out new information, and social networks are an endless buffet of novelty. Now, here's the catch. The dopamine system is all about the anticipation of a reward, not the actual reward itself. This anticipation keeps us hooked, constantly checking our phones for that next notification, that next hit of dopamine. We're always chasing that high, that sense of satisfaction we get when we see a new like or a new comment. So the next time you find yourself mindlessly scrolling through your social media feeds, remember this. You're not just wasting time. You're playing a game with your own brain, a game designed to keep you coming back for more. It's like a digital slot machine. We keep pulling the lever hoping for that next hit. We're wired to compare ourselves to others. Social networks amplify this. This is the essence of social comparison, a psychological phenomenon that's as old as human society itself. It's our innate tendency to gauge our own worth by sizing ourselves up against others. Social networks, with their vast user bases and constant content updates, offer an endless array of comparison targets, making them a perfect stage for this psychological play. Consider the typical social network feed. It's a carefully curated highlight reel, showcasing the best moments of people's lives. Exotic vacations, impressive achievements, perfectly arranged meals, flawless selfies. The digital world is awash with these picture-perfect snapshots of life. But here's the catch. These images don't represent the full reality of people's lives. They are a selected, edited, and often embellished version of reality. As we scroll through these feeds, we engage in what's known as upward social comparison, comparing ourselves to those we perceive as better off. This can lead to feelings of inadequacy, envy, even depression. On the flip side, there's downward social comparison, where we compare ourselves to those we perceive as less fortunate. This can lead to a temporary boost in self-esteem, but can also foster complacency and a lack of empathy. Despite these potential negative effects, why do we keep coming back? Well, social comparison on social networks offers a paradoxical mix of pleasure and pain. The pleasure comes from the aspiration, the desire to achieve what others have. The pain comes from the gap between the ideal and our current reality. This tension creates a powerful emotional engagement, keeping us hooked to our screens, always scrolling, always comparing. In conclusion, social comparison on social networks is a double-edged sword. It can inspire and motivate, but it can also lead to feelings of inadequacy and discontent. It's a psychological roller coaster we willingly ride. So, the next time you find yourself scrolling through your feed, remember, what you see is not the whole picture. Everyone has their struggles and imperfections, even those who seem perfect online. Our brains love novelty. Scrolling through feeds provides a constant stream of new information, a brain buffet. You see, our brain is a curious entity. It thrives on novelty and craves new experiences, and social networks are like a never-ending treasure trove of fresh content. As we scroll, click, and swipe, we're continuously feeding this need for novelty. This endless pursuit of the new and interesting isn't just a whimsical trait of the human mind. It's deeply rooted in our brain's chemistry. The nucleus accumbens, a small region in the center of our brain, lights up when we encounter something new. This area is a key player in our brain's reward circuitry, the same circuitry that's activated by addictive substances. Now let's add another layer to this. When we encounter something novel, our brain also releases dopamine, the so-called feel-good hormone. It's this release of dopamine that makes us feel a rush of pleasure when we stumble upon a fascinating new post, or when our photo garners a flurry of likes and comments. In essence, every time we engage with social networks, we're setting off a dopamine-fueled fireworks show in our brain. And it's this burst of dopamine that keeps us coming back for more, always seeking that next hit of novelty and reward. But here's the kicker, our brains are built to adapt. The more we expose ourselves to this constant stream of novelty, the more our brains start to expect it. We become desensitized to the dopamine rush, and we need more and more stimulation to feel the same level of excitement. This is the same pattern seen in substance addiction, where increased usage leads to tolerance and the need for higher doses. So we find ourselves caught in a loop. We seek novelty, we get a dopamine hit, we adapt, and then we seek even more novelty. It's a cycle that keeps us glued to our screens, endlessly scrolling, clicking, and swiping. No wonder we keep coming back for more. So, next time you catch yourself mindlessly scrolling, remember, social networks are designed to be addictive. From the fear of missing out that keeps us in a constant state of anticipation, the dopamine hits that come from likes, comments, and gaining followers, to the psychological roller coaster of social comparisons and the novelty-seeking behavior that our brains love. It's all a carefully crafted digital spell, but it's not all doom and gloom. Awareness is indeed power. Recognizing these triggers and understanding the psychological mechanisms at play is the first step toward reclaiming your time and attention. It's essential to set boundaries, perhaps schedule specific times for social media use, or even engage in regular digital detoxes. Prioritize real-life connections, experiences, and hobbies that don't involve screens. And hey, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, because even we're part of this digital dance.